If I said that,
You wouldn't get any powdered milk.
it'd be like
No.
the sex.
Oh my God.
Sorry, was that wrong? Oh shit, we're live.
Oh no, I did not.
It'd be like the sex
That's
Nazi.
bad.
No sex for you.
No, we weren't live for yours. We were recording for yours, so I can
You
edit
could
that
definitely
out
add-
if you want.
no, add it.
Or I can
Add
leave
it
it
in.
Leave it in.
Yeah.
Leave it in.
You want to see me suffer?
Yeah, the dog is upstairs alone, so this is just to let the listener know that if you hear some random barks throughout the show, it's Jack. He's farting on the bar stool. Before we begin, it's time to thank some great organizations for doing what they do so well. Gooder Sunglasses, people. Gooder has new shades specifically for cycling coming out. I know if you hunt around the internet, you have probably seen it. Sea Otter is where they came out. Check out a little of Ashton Lambie's maybe earlier photos. I think you might have seen them. They are legit. They're beautiful, and they're going to be super affordable. Stay tuned. We here at the Packfiller have some very soon to share with all of you, our friends of the show. Wahoo Fitness, people. Computers, trainers, heart rate monitors, and training platforms to fulfill all of the elements of the two-wheeled lifestyle. Get to Packfiller. Click the link. Get yourself the best in cycling technology today. Untapped maple, people. Tested in true flavor and performance coming from Vermont's purest maple syrup. Jackson and I had the salted cocoa yesterday. Cacao? Was it cocoa? Cocoa yesterday. And
Very, very happy with it. It was really good.
I agree. Works perfectly. Easily digestible, quick, and delicious. 100 calories never went down so smoothly. Get to Packfiller today and click the link. Athletic Brewing, people. The best in non-alcoholic craft brewing out there. Multiple flavors, multiple opportunities to have a beer without having alcohol. Trust me, trust Dry April Jack.
Nearly dry.
Use the link at Packfiller. And finally, Ambassador Cycling, people. Get fit to get fit. You need to be efficient. That's what makes the bike go fast. You know that. Get to Sam at ambassadorcycling.com today to schedule a meeting to make you faster, comfortable, and far more efficient. Let's do this. So this local guy wants to do an article on the podcast, and he and I were talking about something else, and he said, yeah, I tuned in and listened. I didn't realize you guys were so professional.
What?
How do you react to that?
He's drinking like
Wait,
us.
are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you listening to the right podcast?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
cycling podcast, another one. That's a professional one. No, I took it as a compliment, and then I realized, he didn't listen. Okay, Holy Week is over. The Ardennes are approaching. Oh, and the Giro is 18 days away.
Crazy.
Am I right? Is 18?
Yeah.
It's either 17 or 18 days away. Don't relax. Cycling is here, and so is the Packfiller podcast. I am Pat Bulger. The panel is present. Let's throw an awkward question into their faces, shall we? This is from listeners. This is from listeners. Gentlemen, when I introduce you, could you please respond with one of the most embarrassing moments of your life to date?
Man, I've got so many. I gotta
So many.
through 'em.
Yeah.
So many embarrassing moments, so little time. And I usually go with Paul first, so should I give him a second while the theme dies? Or should we just jump right into it? He's definitely
Well, there you go. This is how the show's gonna go, Pat.
yeah.
Professional, remember? Are you feeling the pressure?
It's
Or what's
just
going on?
I'm flustered. He will definitely have some disc brakes and tubeless tire comments in the next hour. Mr. Paul Main, how are you, man?
Yeah, doing all right.
So, talk to me, man. What was one of your most embarrassing moments of your life without being too rated X?
Yeah, that's not a problem. There's not too much in my life is rated X. So,
Sad.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I was dating this girl, and this is not even rated X.
What year?
I was in college,
Okay.
1969.
and to be honest with you, I liked her, but
Did you just say
69?
1969? Jesus, you asshole.
The year I was born.
oh really? I was in kindergarten,
Yeah.
in first grade.
Nice.
But yeah, I was dating this girl. I liked her, but I didn't really want You know, I didn't want to come off like bad. We're saying goodbye. I don't know how she felt about me. I turned around and ran into a post and ripped a huge fart. And I turned around and she just didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
I would have laughed.
Was that the end of the relationship?
Yeah, I don't think it was. We stayed friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure it went around campus like, yeah, that's the guy. He's just, he's loaded. So.
Posted farted. Oh, I don't know if we could top that. Number 2, he will definitely use the restroom in the next hour. Mr. Jack Broadhead.
Hi.
You okay tonight, man?
I'm.
You seem a
been
little
running,
flustered.
Just running ragged.
Really?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay.
You know, when this question came up, I'm not easily embarrassed. Like I guess I don't have any shame.
You never.
Is that I'm just like
You've never farted
no,
in somebody
all
awkwardly.
that, but I just I'm not super embarrassed. I guess probably.
God, life must be wonderful. I'm serious.
I guess I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Life must be wonderful.
Let's see. I'll go to an embarrassing cycling moment that I actually brought up on a ride that I it's probably of, you know how you try to forget things and it just comes up once in a while. Is I last lap of a state championship road race out at Cheney.
That one.
Yeah. I got left behind by I think there was about 8 people
Yeah,
8 people left
brutal.
in the race.
Yeah.
So is the
Horrible,
longest race.
horrible cold.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
race.
longest race
Nasty.
I've ever done. I think like 130,
Yeah.
something like that. Whatever it was.
What the fuck?
120 something.
It was ridiculous, and it was raining and cold. And I got left behind because I started to take my booties off on the last lap. I brought this up to my wife the other day. I'm like, why did I? I just
You're
can't forget
hypoxic.
about it.
Man,
That's what it was.
It's really fucking
it's
hot out here.
36 degrees. I need to take my booties
I
off.
don't know what was on my mind.
It
'cause I
did warm up. It did warm up. That it started off cold.
Maybe the sun was out, and I'm like, all right,
was.
in 7 miles, or what was that lap? I don't
I can't
know.
remember.
You just
what it
couldn't
was.
wait.
I just couldn't bear one more lap.
you remember
of
who won?
booties on. No, I was behind
Chris?
the group. Chris Torgerson.
Hey, the delirium of being a bike racer in a 130-mile race.
yeah.
You were accepted.
Out of my mind.
So you took your booties off, and
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I just
Oh,
got
that-
dropped.
He got dropped.
I got
Taking his
dropped.
booties off.
Because I
that's
took-
your most embarrassing.
Were you on the
moment is
feet?
getting
I
dropped.
guess.
Were you in the feet?
I was. It was after the finish. We turned the corner to the
Oh,
right.
going up
and
Sulnave.
Yeah, I just left myself.
I crashed on lap 1.
Most people are
You told me
like,
that. That's another embarrassing moment.
most embarrassing moment.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I've
right.
shit my pants or
Okay,
something.
yeah.
I just can't remember.
But you were okay with it then.
Yeah.
You just looked at everyone and went, ha ha, this is Jack.
No, I didn't make a point. I
You
don't know.
threw it like a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Third, he'll definitely be polite when somebody interrupts him in the next hour. Mr. Jackson Bulger. How are you, man?
I'm all right.
You even said that nicely.
I'll be
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
I guess it's time for this to enter the world.
Uh-oh.
So
Does your dad even know about this?
he was there for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
wow.
Well,
Oh, my God.
Sears, God rest its soul.
Sears, we
Yep.
were in the Sears Athletic.
We were in the
Department.
and you guys were gonna buy an elliptical trainer, and so I got on a stationary bike, and
The irony.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I didn't know back then that that the pedals didn't
It was
stop.
fixed.
You
It
know,
was fixed.
yeah, I just didn't know, and so I was like, I got going like pretty fast on it, and my feet came off, and one just smacked my the back of my leg, the back of my calf, yeah. And it surprised me so much that I farted, but it wasn't
He
just
sharded
that.
itself.
Yeah. And
He sharded?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't buy the
Nice.
bike. And so
We did probably buy some underwear. Though.
Did
Yeah.
you wipe it down?
well, the thing is, so I go to the bathroom because what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
And so
You leave your underpants in the bathroom.
wait till you hear this.
Yeah.
So
There's more.
So, we all, not we all, I go in and then I'm like, what do I do? And you were in there and I remember You may deny this, but you said these specific words. I said, what do I do with my underwear? And you said, put them in your pocket.
What? What kind of fatherly advice is that?
And
Underwear isn't cheap.
Yeah, right. It was a frugal.
Your mom could get the stain out. Don't worry about it.
We can wash it out.
And so
Toxically.
Did you put them in your pocket?
I put them in my pocket.
I'm an asshole.
And
I'm an asshole. You should have tossed them.
And then you guys bought the elliptical, and I was sitting in the car, underwearless, with my poop underwear in my pocket. I was there for probably 45 minutes just trying to wait for the elliptical to come out of the store. And
And then your mom gets in the car and says, "It smells like shit in here."
To pay him back, you should have left the underwear under the seat.
I know.
Sweet. There's some thinking there.
Yeah. I'm a horrible father.
Yes, you are.
I was trying to be nice, I think. It's just like, just put them in your pocket. You're fine. Just put them in your pocket.
I'd throw them and see if they stuck on the wall and leave them there. That's what I would have done.
Oh my God, Jackson wins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I'll definitely swear too many times for no apparent reason in the next hour. Yeah, I had a common theme there, but the stories were too great. My story is a classic scenario of a child of a divorced parents. My mom was. I was living with my mom. She was working, every day, and so one morning I got up by myself for grade school, 7th grade. Went downstairs to the kitchen. There isn't much in the cupboard, and so I found the nearest thing I could get, and it was a can of applesauce. And I opened up a can of applesauce, and I didn't realize the can of applesauce probably came with the house. And I ate almost. Who the fuck does this for breakfast? Yeah. But I ate almost the whole can of applesauce for breakfast, and then walked to school, and I'm sitting there in my 7th grade class, and I think it was English, because in those days, every class, you didn't move from class to class.
The teachers came to your class. Yeah.
Well, in our case, I think the teacher just switched gears, kind of a thing. It's like, now I'm your math teacher, and Mr. Gall was his name, and I can probably say his name because fuck if he's ever going to listen to this show. The guy's a complete douche.
Is he?
Wow.
Might not be alive.
Fuckhead. Yeah, absolute fuckhead. He had a lot of gall. But the girl in front of me was reading whatever story we were reading out loud, and the applesauce decided to make a return, and it
return up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right. Orally. Yeah, and it came right out, and it was still obviously. I mean, you don't chew applesauce really, so it came out in all of its purest form, all over this girl named Heather. I can't remember her last name, and I don't want to embarrass her.
Yeah, because she's listening to the
Fuck
show.
the teacher, but it came out all over her and me, and it was a pool in my lap. And I'm going to share this with our listening audience. For several months, if not almost another year, I was known as Boom Boom Bulger.
Boom.
How terrible.
Yeah.
That's going to stick.
Yeah.
That's going to.
Yeah. It was
I
terrible.
may have to remember that.
I was Boom Boom Bulger because I threw up applesauce. And I sat there with it in my lap, not knowing what to do, because I had my legs together so it wouldn't spill all over the floor. And Mr. Gall was just looking at me going, Bulger, go, leave. And I'm going, but I don't want to spill the vomit all over the floor. Go. And then I stand up and it goes, and everybody goes, even grosser. So yeah, mine was more of a sob story.
It was.
That is embarrassing at that age in school.
Yes.
Yeah, it was terrible.
No wonder you switched schools.
You mean shitting yourself?
No, I graduated from that school.
Well,
so you say you're thinking that shitting yourself in Sears on an exercise bike, you're not going to buy.
Nobody knows
it's not as bad
He
as
didn't
that.
shit on the bike. We do
I
have
think-
to
I
say
think
that.
that
Nobody
is
knew about it
more
either.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's right. Nobody
I
knew
bet
about
you.
that.
I bet you though, if
And it was a
forensics
shark,
went
not
in
a
there,
shit.
they could like
They
scrape
could
out
find
some
fecal
fecal
matter. Yeah. It was a shark,
some
not a shit.
DNA. You left some DNA
Yep.
Yeah.
on that.
At the
I hope you
scene.
feel good.
Well, I leave a legacy wherever I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
There you
which,
go.
back on the rails. Who's been writing? Paul,
Yeah,
you
no.
haven't. You
Been sick.
said you haven't. You
I
still
have a sore
coming out
throat
of it.
and everything. Yeah.
Jack,
I've had 3 indoor rides in a row.
really, dude, nice. You gonna do Bloomsday?
Yeah.
Jackson,
I have to.
Jackson and I were talking
have to.
about the other day.
I have to. Are you doing it?
No, we were just talking about if anybody
me?
was. Yeah. Bloomsday, for those who don't know, our region is a gigantic timed running race, and Jack is going to do it.
Yeah, so it's like our anniversary. It's
Yeah.
and
I
so
think
the wife and I are just running it. We're not racing it
together.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally I would not
Damn, that's
I would
cute.
not run that I would not race that with her.
Yeah.
But if we're just running, we've run it probably 3 times after like a couple ultra marathons and a marathon, so that we're just like, okay, let's just go funning at Bloomsday together. But there's been times where I've run my pace and she's run her pace, but we're not in that kind of shape. Yeah, that's all.
What were the indoor rides?
It's just 30 minutes. That's about all I can stand.
No,
My
understand.
knee's been bugging me a little bit. I talked to Sam about it. We're gonna get together again and see if I've got a
No, wrong one. God
Ding,
damn it, I was
ding.
supposed to hit that one.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Paul had you.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
He had your back. So yeah, I might borrow Sam's bike bag for going to Maui to ride.
Careful of down trees.
Down trees.
Yeah.
Is there falling?
Did Sam tell you about his down tree story?
Mm-mm.
He took a chunk out of his arm.
I thought it was on a guardrail.
That
Yeah,
Guardrail.
but he's
But
dodging.
he was avoiding a tree.
Oh, wasn't he on a mountain bike?
No, he's on his
he's
road
on
bike.
his road
That
bike.
was Karsten.
Very similar to
Well,
Karsten.
yeah,
very
that's a
similar
long-
to the Diva. The Diva did his on he was avoiding a fence and he clipped his arm on it and
Right, that was
took
ugly.
That's one of the most
chunk
intense.
filleted.
one of the most worst arm injuries I've ever seen. Not to downplay Sam's.
No.
But Sam did the same thing, similar, but he was avoiding. He did a Chloe Dygart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Jackson, how's your riding week been?
It was good. We rode yesterday. That was my that was my second ride.
That was my hardest ride of the week. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did a gym session. We actually got a gym membership.
What?
I know, big kid stuff. But yeah, I did not realize how much I would like, and I think it's gonna be a big benefit come the race time and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that, and then I rode for like 14 miles on last Wednesday, and then like I said, you and I got up to like 68 miles at the end of it.
You did.
Yeah. But it was good. We, of course, I said this yesterday on our ride that if it's not snowing, apparently it's just gale force winds where we are.
Yeah.
So we had the wind with us for sure. Wind with us and against us.
Yeah.
But it was good yesterday. I felt kind of shredded after.
Paul sends us a route that's 55 miles, and mine was 62, and yours was just shy of 70. So you might want to think about recalibrating.
Well, it's from my
that
house. You
computer.
guys didn't calculate how far
Yeah.
he lived from my house.
We did ride by your house. We just
Yeah.
said hi to Flanders and stuff like that.
Was he in the window?
He, of course.
Yeah.
Every time I ride by your house, he's in the window. So yeah, there we go.
It's a little doggy in the window.
How much for it? I took something of a week off. I'm not gonna lie. I did one Zwift ride, just to kind of shake the legs out, and the Monday ride with Jackson. And I am blown away that I feel okay, because this morning I woke up and my back felt like utter garbage. I was like a track sprinter when you come out of the gates, and I was slowly rising, kind of a thing.
I do that every morning.
It's terrible. Do you?
Yeah.
I was bad. And I'm in the midst of, although I forgot to do it today, a 10,000 squats in 30 days and a core thing in 30 days. The irony is that I'm trying to do core to strengthen my back.
Yeah.
And I hurt my back
hurt
like
it.
shit today. Yeah. So there we go. Jack, how's the bike hunt?
Today I asked
They're out. There are bikes out there.
Yeah. Specifically the one that I want. I mentioned on, I think, the last show, the guy that I was considering buying it through his shop was in Honduras. I believe he's back. Anyway, to get on a waiting list for that bike.
No.
That
The
particular
Argon?
bike. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
Pros Closet.
Yeah, I would.
They've
go
got
But
some on Pros
Pros
Closet.
by
Pros
used one?
Closet.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean,
I get the draw for a new one though as well. I do understand that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, what am I going to save $1,000? But I'll get it right away. Is that the point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, and if you know what you want, and they have a checklist, and I'm not
Yeah, I've been
trying
on
to sell
there
their
a
products.
lot.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time on Bros Closet.
Yeah.
But that was, like, well, I guess I'll just buy it.
The thing is,
$8,000,
well, I'm a
$9,000
little bit hesitant to buy anything when they're in Honduras. Not that this might be legit, but anytime you go from away from the traditional areas, they have a tendency to be a little
sketch.
Yeah.
He was in Honduras, but his bike shop is in Cooley, Idaho.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
There we go.
Priest Lake.
Yeah, see, you can go right there.
The fuck? So you're talking to a guy.
He was on vacation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I mixed.
See, but
I
he's
confused
taking
people
a
for like
call from you
a week. Yeah.
on vacation?
That's kind of why I was pretty
He's not
impressed.
married or won't be for long.
I was impressed that he did. I thanked him for taking
That is cool.
the call.
Yeah.
He sent out emails while he was there. I don't know. He might be a missionary for all I know. But he sent me emails.
Can I interest you in Awake magazine?
This is the way in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
wow.
so
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to just.
You know what struck me during the classics this weekend, during Prairie Roubaix? I was watching it all, and I think it happens to me when I see.
Now, wait. You said all. Did you watch all of it?
I did. Well,
you started from kilometer zero.
I did, and then I fast forwarded a little bit, and we'll get into that.
Right.
I fast forwarded a little bit, but then I went, wait, something's fucking going on, and I rewound again, and so I basically skipped like the first 30K, and then shit got real. But anyway, so I'm watching it, and the pack goes into a corner, and you hear the, all that kind of stuff, and I'm just going, oh my God, I know I'm old. I know I'm stuck in my ways. I know that I'm on a podcast with a guy who's keeping me stuck on my ways. Maybe
He's holding you back.
Maybe I should just sit here while I'm the slow kilometers are on and just kind of start looking around for frames. And I was thinking maybe I should just get another rim brake frame now. And just slowly kind of build it up with Di2, with rim brakes, with I know that there are wheels available now. I know that there are probably I can get brake pads now and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I should build this bike up, and maybe I should just ride it. The current bike I'm on now, I plan on riding for another 3-4 years. Well, 2 to 3 years. Okay, let's say at least, and then maybe I'll get another bike and ride it for another 4+ years, and then when disc brakes get dialed in and you can you can flip a switch and the pads all of a sudden just go whack, super wide, and I can do a quick wheel change. And Jackson and my wife made fun of me on this at Easter dinner because they're going like, yeah, how many wheel changes do you do in the middle of a ride, Pat? And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but and then I talked to the Diva and he told me that Giant's got some new frames out, and stuff like that. Some rim brake frames that are out now. You should check out Giant.
Really?
Yeah, you guys should check out Giant. They've got bikes right now. They've got some delays. I saw in an article today, but their website is showing that they've got bikes in. And I was going, man, I would just love to buy a frame. And then, by the way, the new TCR Advanced SL is just fucking gorgeous. It's like
is it rim brake or disc?
It's rim. It's rim. The one I want to buy is rim brake, and it's like a deep wine red. It's like a purpley red. It's fucking gorgeous. But yeah, it's rim brake.
Is it direct mount or center bolt?
Yeah.
Okay. To me, well, we're going. I'm taking it in the weeds anyway.
That's fine. No, and but what I was saying is, am I in the wrong here?
I don't
Jackson's
think so.
going to say yes.
Yeah,
I understand that, and that's kind of why I wanted to pose it to you guys.
It's not that you're in the wrong; it's what you're interested in, and I don't think that's ever going to be in the wrong. It's just a difference of opinions at this point,
this is a podcast, so you're free to express your opinion.
No, I know, and I was gonna say that I don't think that I would necessarily do that just because I like the way my bike performs.
Yeah,
and the brakes that I have perform. But I get if you prefer one way over the other, rim brakes aren't really going away. They're just they aren't as popular, is what I think. Because UAE still rides them all the time.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the way my gravel bike performs. My gravel bike has disc brakes, and I love the way my mountain bike performs. My mountain bike has disc brakes. I'm just thinking to myself, I don't have any problems. I've never had to grab my brakes and go, oh, fuck, I'm going to die, and have it not stop.
I had that once. I had my Dolo Speedy brakes.
Well, yeah, those were cork. God, those things were terrible. But so I'm just thinking to myself, you know, why don't I ride this wave out a little bit? Get another bike with rim brakes that I am happy with. I'm enamored with electronic shifting. It sounds cool. It sounds fun. It's my tech geek that wants to kick in. Maybe I just ride this wave for a little longer.
Well, I agree. With rim brakes for road riding and racing, especially racing, and Marty Jameson that you interviewed like last week. Good interview, by the way. That was nice.
Thank you.
But you know, he has a touring company, and the simplicity of rim brakes is so easy that he can get his bike together in a half hour from his pack.
Yeah.
And he's on the road.
Yeah.
And when you travel and you spend so much time, I mean, your time is really, really important. That, you know, on his behalf, rim brakes, I hope they don't go away, because if you travel, that's the best way to go. Can you imagine packing a bike that's got all your hydraulic tubes? You got to put all these spacers in, and you got one-piece stem. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's going to be a nightmare. And then it's a 2-hour before you can go for a ride. You're all rummy from jet lag anyway, but
might not tighten something.
But watching a couple of, even the pros, watching a couple of wheel changes there in Paris-Roubaix, I'm like, oh Jesus, you know, and what had happened to Wout going in, he got a flat going into the Armberg Fort, and
he had to get somebody.
What happened?
He had the same thing.
Collapsed wheel.
Yeah.
His wheel collapsed.
Yeah, we'll get.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, some of these things, you know, to me, the simplicity of a bike when I got into it, it was so easy. So the average guy can center line the brakes. You put a wheel in, you bump your brakes, you can actually.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. And I think the industry is pushing, you know, where they want to go. And it's unfortunate because it's made the bikes heavier. It's made them way more complicated than they need to be, because the cool thing about, to me, with bikes, and always have been, it's a simple mechanical device. Mm-hmm. And now it's getting so complicated that if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you have, and I like electronic shifting, I'll probably more likely go there than disc brakes, but when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're pretty screwed.
Yeah.
And and I mentioned to you, Pat, that English bikes, the guy, I heard an interview on another podcast, that this customer wanted rim brakes, but able to handle like 42C wheels.
What was the show? You can say the show, by the way.
I think it was either Roller,
okay, yeah,
or Nerd Alert.
Okay,
one of those two, because I listen to so many. Yeah. So, but anyway, they're talking to him, and Chris King actually created a direct mount brake, which is better than center pole, and they was able to, they manufactured where you can take a 42C tire, and it might even be wider, maybe 45. I mean, the capability is there, but the problem was clinchers or tubeless with rim brakes. The lamination, it delaminates with heat and heavy brakes.
Oh God!
And so, several manufacturers,
so
I think,
factors.
But you have like actually people who fix the problem. I think Envy and also Zip, right towards where everybody's like, nope, we're done, we're going disc. They already fixed that problem. So I mean, the technology's there.
So hopefully, their warehouse is full of that useless shit.
Well, they probably didn't manufacture much. They just maybe
we got prototypes. It, so, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Jack? Would you ride another rim brake bike, or are you going to go full disc?
I think I'm leaning certainly looking only at full disc and electronic shifting, but you know, the issues with the brakes, like you mentioned, hey, I want to push a button and they're going to open up. I mean, I would think that in time that would be, if you have a disc brake bike, you could probably
it's gonna
buy
happen.
New brakes that would do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be an
It's not that hard.
that would be an upgrade. So
We're really talking here about like, oh my, like, how are we gonna like get our wheels in together? Like,
no, but
go for it.
But I think what I mean is that when you put the wheel back in,
Yeah.
the amount of play is so close that you got this zing, 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 zing.
But like,
And that is, how many watts is that? Probably not many.
but the repair isn't like as hard as we're really making it seem. Like as the person who every once in a while hears that and just goes, oh, just loosen this real quick, tighten it back up. Like, it is a pretty quick fix, all in all. It's frustrating. I know it's frustrating sometimes that you have to actually use a tool, but
So
it's not as hard.
Am I stupid for wanting another rim brake bike? Yes or no, Jackson?
No, I don't think so.
Jack?
no.
Paul?
Definitely no.
Okay. There we go then. Dino, I want another bike.
Yeah.
I want another frame. I do want another. I think I do. And I'm going to ride for a while. So there we go. So yeah, I guess that got us through that intro part. Oh, I hope I figure shit out, and I hope I honestly look at these fucking sound effects someday and organize them. And there it is. It is the news intro. I'm gonna alphabetize them. Someday I'm gonna come down here and get my shit together.
Oh, what do you
I'm
want?
out.
I got it.
No, I'm out. I'm good. Hey, let's check the headlines. A little race happened this past weekend, in case you guys didn't know. It was called Paris-Roubaix. Proper place in the calendar, at least partially, and did not disappoint. At least, I can't believe I saw some people online saying that it was a boring race.
What?
I saw some posts by people who said it was a boring race. So here we go. Let's talk about the highlights. I don't want to get too far in depth because I'm sure every single podcast on the internet has gone from Monday to today ad nauseum, and I'm sure everybody who listens to podcasts every day is going, "Oh fuck, can we get over it
again?"
Yeah. But I want to talk about highlights, and I want to talk about our individual input on certain events of the event. How about Ineos and the switch to classics? How about the fact that at one point they're going along just fine as this Grand Tour team, and hey guys, the best rider on the team crashed into a bus. Can we just flip a switch? Yeah, sure, man. Click, and then all of a sudden they're a fucking classics team.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy seeing their switch and focus, and I'm happy that they're able to do it because it seemed like they were really just a one-trick pony for a little while there, but now they have multiple cards to play.
And it's not like they had to change personnel.
No,
they went strictly with, it's like, okay, you're now doing this, you're now doing this, and cyclists are trained for specific responsibilities.
Well, I will like to say also something that came to mind was that I would like to see them in the next couple of years sign one more young, like, promising Grand Tour rider, because a lot's riding right now on Bernal, I feel like.
Yeah.
And he's, unfortunately, with his health lately, it seems like he's been, unfortunately, like, been kind of not able to ride these to his full potential. So I think it would just be smart on their part to probably invest in one other person just in case, like Bernal crashes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he'll come back, but I don't think Geraint Thomas is going to win another tour, for instance.
Really, I was going to pick him.
I know.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We'll take that.
I'll be the guy in the ugly jersey at the end of July. I think, and this came out in, and I do need to plug those guys, is in the Cycling Legends show that I do
Good
for
show.
those guys. Yeah, that a lot of kudos belong to Roger Hammond.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where was he last year? What team? Bahrain victorious.
Really? Really?
Who won the Paris-Roubaix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
He's done really well in the classics. He's a classic guy.
Yeah.
He's a cyclocrosser. Came to that team, and you look at what Ineos has been doing. I mean, they used to stack up. They started getting these small little, trying to replace Chris Froome with. That's professional. But they're trying to replace Chris Froome with these Colombians, which are great riders. But with Wiggins and Froome, what they did is they got these big, tall guys that can maintain, 6.5 kilowatts, per kilogram, whatever. Anyway,
watts per kg.
kilogram.
Yeah.
So, and they just go up the hill and then everybody dies off.
Yeah.
Well, Colombians, in my opinion, the Colombians don't do that. They're just like, everybody catches up, hit it.
Boom.
I mean,
Slow
hit
down.
it.
Boom.
And so that strategy it didn't seem to really mix with their.
Lucha Herrera style. Yeah.
And so, but they've been picking up, Pidcock, and they picked up Magnus Sheffield, all these guys that were just waiting, and they picked up a classic, DS that actually said, okay, we've got this going on. We've got the personnel. And I just listened to What's Occurring, which is Luke Rowe and Geraint Thomas, and they said this is the first year that Luke Rowe, who's been from day one pretty much, he said, we came into these classic seasons saying, dudes, we're in this together. Whoever wins, that's what we want. And that was their attitude. He said, we've never entered the classic season like that.
God,
that's from the page from the Wolfpack.
I was going to say, it's almost like a Wolfpack mentality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it works.
The return of Wout after COVID, to be able to pull something like that off was almost superhuman in nature. I mean, to see what he was doing, and I don't, on being an armchair quarterback, it was very easy for me to be judgmental to watch him making these incredible accelerations on some of the paid sections after cobbles. I'm sure he was probably thinking of himself to just accelerate and wear others down, but sometimes I was like, especially when things were coming back after an attack, and could he have attacked, accelerated at a time when it just seemed like there were strangely timed efforts in the race. And this is me just trying to provide a talk show because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, but I just it just seemed like a strange concept of how he was riding. I don't know if any of you guys noticed any.
Well, Magnus Backstead was saying that
great fucking job by Magnus Backstead, by the way. Yeah, he
was saying that Wout needed to be kind of careful, especially on a lot of those just regularly paved sections, because he was very vulnerable to a counterattack at that point.
Yeah.
And it was strange at sometimes to see that. But on the other end, like we were talking about yesterday on our ride, it was also, you could tell the difference between the cyclocross riders and like the just strictly road riders, especially with their seated power. When Wout and Van der Poel, mainly Wout really, Van der Poel didn't have his day yesterday, but when Wout would be seated and just accelerate away from everybody, that you could tell was a skill that was definitely honed in an off-road setting.
Yeah, in the sand and mud.
Yeah,
that ability to just and grab the bike and just
here's your statistic. We talked about cyclocross and Paris-Roubaix parallels. How many cyclocross world champions or cyclocross riders have won Paris-Roubaix?
I'm going to say none.
One. Roger de Vlaeminck.
Yeah.
No one else. You had Stuybar, Lars Bohm.
That's because riders don't ride enough.
Roger Hammond was cyclocross. So
who's never won a?
No, none of them won. Yeah. We always talk about that's the great transition, but you can use that to your advantage. But there's still that road.
Seated power was a thing.
That could work to it, but you still have to have that savvy as a road rider too.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to. I do want to mention the women's and the fact that the domination of Trek Segafredo continues. Yeah. And the one time I want to say I did not see her name on the list, but the one time I didn't pick Elisa Longo Borghini, she won. Yeah. I'm never picking her again, although I think I might have today. But fucking awesome ride. Oh, you got to go pee, Jackson.
No, I'm going to get a beer.
Are you gonna get a beer? Okay. How about
Athletic Brewing beer?
Yeah. Are you? Oh, and he didn't set. The boy's learning. He didn't set his headphones on the mic. So does anybody? I'm jumping topics here because we're already 40 minutes into the show. But the incredible performance of Elisa Longoborghini. Jackson's got his sinuses are fucking with him. Yeah. Oh, he's got allergies.
Well,
allergies.
The thing is it shouldn't be surprising, and I'm wondering, like last year, Lizzie Deignan did a wonderful job. She attacked early, but her intention, she even said, was to get some action from other teams. So, who came in third place last year?
It was her again, wasn't it?
Elisa.
Yeah.
So. It wouldn't. Had I thought about that, I would have picked her. I don't know why. And she came in pretty fresh.
Yeah.
The only one that really she was able to get away from her was Mariana Voss.
Yeah.
And Voss, of course, was my pick. I thought for sure.
Yeah, me too.
COVID, you cruel
bastard.
mister.
Yeah. And so that's a shame. But that girl's gonna get it next year.
Yeah. She's gonna get it one of these days.
But I don't think there should be a surprise.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Lotte Kopecky as well. I mean, SD Works, I didn't think had the best day, barring her. I thought she had a really good day.
God, she's strong.
Yeah.
Holy shit, she's strong. Lotte Kopecky.
I felt bad sometimes for Vandenberg Blach, especially when she would come back and then she'd have to pace it on the front, and she just had to do all the work all day, which big up to her for doing that. Also, Lucinda Brandt, I thought was really impressive, especially coming off a full cross season to be able to close that gap.
Yeah.
That was really impressive. And then I think, was it Marta Bastianelli? Marta Cavalli. She had a flat and then had to come back to it again to get. Didn't she get fifth or fourth or something like that? I don't know. That was
the results.
Yeah.
In front of me. Here I have computers all around me, and I don't have the results. Sorry.
But just to see a lot of mechanicals. Ellen Van Dyke was another name that came to mind.
Yeah.
A lot of mechanicals in both races, really. And I'm sure we'll talk about the flats. The amount of flats.
Well, that's actually my next topic. So go right into it.
There were. To finish on the last thought, to see all the riders be able to come back from that on both races was really impressive. But also the amount of flats I was really surprised about. And sure, I'm big on new technology and all that, but it seemed like tubeless was having more of the difficulty on the day rather than other forms, which was really interesting.
I haven't seen any stats, so I don't know. Were there more teams on tubeless? Were there more cases of tire burps? Were there
which still would be a tubeless thing? I mean, what? It just, were they covered more on live TV? I mean, something was going on, because I have never seen that many more mechanical issues. Let alone 2 sets of wheels collapsing underneath Jumbo Visma riders. I know that I think there's some on wheels, but I know for a fact that that's, it's got to be a fluke, right?
Bad batch.
No. What, the collapsed wheels?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. I think it was whether it was Torino or I think it was Torino Andretico. There was a years back, probably 5-6 years ago, a team time trial was the opening stage, and at that time was Sky. Were on the Shimano tri-spoke.
Yeah.
And do you remember that?
No, but I just
they were collapsing. They were collapsing in the TT.
Wow.
So they had problems with it, and then that's why you saw them kind of go away. And Shimano put a press release out and mentioned that it wasn't there. They said something politically that said, we'd have to look at the situation. It might have been, older, had they been traveling, been used, blah, 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 blah.
It was Greg's fault. He's been fired.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, Ineos now still doesn't use those tri-spokes anymore. But that is been a problem, and I think they were on tubulars too, Jumbo Visma.
There weren't a lot of wheel changes. It was all bike changes.
All bike changes.
Yeah.
It's just quicker.
Yeah. So that takes the whole.
Especially the one in Ironburg where
he had to take a bike
got
change.
A teammate, got a teammate change.
Wout, right?
And same with Mohoric too.
Yeah.
Later in, he had to get a bike change, not a wheel change. It would have been. It would have taken too long. He had to go for the bike change.
I also thought it was really interesting that Jumbo-Visma didn't ride the new Dura-Ace wheels. They raced on the previous version, and both of those previous versions collapsed.
Oh,
that's true because they ran older style Shimano 11-speed, the 9100. I think I can't remember, but anyway, they did that because they rode a bike that they don't normally use. She ran the S5, so they ran. I can't remember. It's not an R series, but maybe it's another version, longer wheelbase type version of Cervelo. So they used, which would make sense, so they don't have to take all their gear off their new bikes that they normally use and put them on that. So they just had some probably leftover miscellaneous parts.
Yeah, which was really interesting. Especially, I was surprised at looking at the different kinds that each member of that team chose to ride. Because Laporte, for instance, chose the Aero version, but Wout didn't. And I wonder what the thought process was there, because as you mentioned, I feel like the one that Wout was riding probably had more capabilities for this race. Yeah. But how Laporte chose a regular road racing bike is really interesting to me. I also think that guy should stop racing Paris-Roubaix, because he was the same guy last year, stopping himself with his foot.
With his foot.
So he should just stop altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Can I bring it up? The most heated topic on the internet right now when it comes to Paris-Roubaix is Yves Lampart's crash.
Oh, poor guy.
And the spectator collision. I've heard, now when you said, it's funny that you said, poor guy, because I have heard, poor guy on both sides of that equation. I have seen video footage that we all saw on TV if you were watching the event, and I've also seen video footage from cell phone from the other direction where the spectator was clapping and slowly stepping back, and Yves Lampart was obviously, let's think about how delirious you are in that state, and how fatigued you are in that state, and how you are searching for any single watt you can spare to get a Paris-Roubaix fucking podium. And you're going smooth pavement, and he went for that smooth pavement.
And he's probably not even looking at spectators at all.
No.
You're looking at the smooth pavement.
So let's talk about the fact that there is an outraged issue about the spectator. There are issues talking about the fact that one of the most beautiful things of cycling is the fact that you can stand on the side of these roads. This was not an Ale Opi Omi.
Right.
No.
This was...
He was watching.
Yeah. Was this guy... Did he fuck up out of excitement and absent-mindedness, or do we throw a little bit of blame to the rider? Where do we put this? And I don't want to make this clickbait, but I just want to get your guys' input upon, is it just an unfortunate, God damn it, I wish that wouldn't have happened, don't blame the guy, blame just fate?
Yeah, I think it was more of a fate issue. I do agree, though, with the commentator from GCN. It's Brian something. I forget what his last name is, and I always will. But he...
he's Scottish.
Yeah.
Oh. But I got enough of them in my life.
But he said, you got to get out of the way, man. Especially...
not him.
Yeah. And I do kind of agree with that in the end of it all, because especially it's tough because a bike race is so open. You're not going to get experienced fans all over the road. But it is tough because you do have to give the riders the road, But like I said, it is also tough because how experienced was this fan? Did he think that if he was clapping, they wouldn't come close to him? It's tough on both sides, but I do agree that just give him the whole road if possible,
Say that to the drunken bass guy who's running up in a fucking thong, in a with a torch in his hand, with a roadside flare in his hand,
or just the crowd's parting, barely in time. How does a rider ride into that?
Trust.
Yeah, exactly. It's unnerving,
Because we also could get on to, and I'm not trying to take away the spirit of cycling here, but what happened? Could a spectator come up and tackle a rider,
or slug him?
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or throw piss on him, which one of the other Quick Step guys has said. He thinks somebody threw a jar of piss on him.
Yeah, that happens.
Voldemort had piss thrown on him.
Which
gets Chris Froome.
Yeah,
Froomey did too. Yeah.
Which gets us into the more of a different topic of does there need to be
rider safety?
Yeah. What's
barriers?
What are we putting our riders at risk?
I think the coolest thing about cycling is that, the accessibility when you're watching. Mm-hmm. And I think as an individual, it's your responsibility. It's easy to put a blame, and there's no fix on this, because cycling, what would it be if they wouldn't allow you to get so close? I mean, I don't think it would be as appealing.
Break my heart. It would break my heart. Yeah.
But on the same token, like you mentioned, like I can't imagine being 230 kilometers in, you're on podium, and you're just thinking straight ahead. You're not looking. You're thinking. You're trusting this guy clapping, his hands out in front of him. He wasn't like extending way out.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just clapping, and you rode into him.
Yeah.
It was an unfortunate.
Barriers.
Yeah,
no,
and
there were no barriers.
No, guys have hit barriers.
Yeah.
In sprints, and that's not a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hate to see it be taken away. I mean, the only thing we can do is put soft fencing around those corners to prevent them to get onto that section. They did it through Ironbreak Forest. They've cut it off. They got it all fenced off. But man, it just like you're putting holes in ships. Fingers in holes in ships.
They had those little barriers on the road to keep them off the smooth part.
Yeah,
and I don't remember which rider it was.
They were about every 20 yards or something like that. Yeah,
it might have been Vanderpool was weaving in and out of them. It's like that is, I don't know.
Well, I don't. People want this guy's head, or people are blaming Lampard for that. It is an unfortunate part of it. When I was there in 2000, did I tell you I've been to Belgium?
Whoa.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Well,
so in 2013,
I gotta organize my sound effects.
My wife downloaded an app that she can take. I can't remember how many pictures. Like 2 a second. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she goes, you watch the race, and I will just look at the camera, and I'll take pictures, and you pull me back. And I had her by both of her shoulders and hanging them out, and I was bringing her back.
Wow.
The whole time on the ditch. Yeah. And I got some really great pictures.
And at any given point in time, you could have lost grip on your wife. And
and when I saw Sepp Van Mark, I would just let her go. Oh, go in! Yeah, exactly. Flat on her face, and Tor Hirschhoff goes, head over heels. Yeah.
So I just, I mean, I don't know if I don't have a solution for this.
No,
because
I don't think there is.
It sucks. You hear Patrick Lefevre saying that, if in my day we would have gone over there and I'd have punched him in the face. And, I guess maybe, okay, you'd have punched him in the face. But what does that do to solve the issue? I don't know if there is a solve of the issue, because we want to make the sport accessible to everybody.
And that doesn't help cycling.
No.
We're going to understand that people are going to get hammered watching these races. I'm not saying the guy who was watching the race was hammered, but he was having a good time, and it looked to me like he was clapping and he wanted to pat him on the back or something as he came by, and he put that hand out to pat him on the back or something like that.
He was clapping, and that outer hand is what hit his handlebars, and that's why you could see his hand sweep by.
And oh my God, he hit the ground hard.
Oh, when he was
so hard,
chest on the bars.
And
it looked like, and
I'm actually surprised that the hand took him down. No, that the hand took him down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like it.
Well, he's going in the right-hand corner, so the pressure is on that right-hand side. All it takes is just a little bit.
I think you're at that point where there's only a few muscles still working.
Well, and there's no guarantee that his front wheel was making contact with the ground
at
that point
exactly.
too. So
I think propelling the bike is the only thing that was working in his body, and that was about it. So it sucked. So there we go. Hey, let's look ahead to the very near future, by the way, the Ardennes Classics. Ardennes. Yeah, shit. What's wrong with me? Ardennes. Fuck. People are going to go like, this guy doesn't even know who Lale Wilcox is. Ardennes Classics are here. Tomorrow is Flèche Wallonne, a different style for a different rider. I asked our expert on it, Paul, to actually provide us with a little background. I almost said Packfiller into this first of the classics of the Ardennes classics.
Flesh Wallon.
Flesh Wallon, Paul.
Well, it did start in 1936 to promote another newspaper.
The newspapers must have had a lot of money back then.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Even in this town, up until newspapers died. Think about Books and Review, the owners there.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, through the years, the course has changed quite a bit, and the famous climb in Flesh Wallon is the Mur de Huy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And the Mur de Huy they actually do it 3 times. There's 3 laps on it, and on that climb, there's several really steep sections at 15%, and one section is at 26%.
Oh. Wow.
And they do it 3 times, and they finish on the 3rd lap. So Valverde has won it 5 times. No one's ever matched that. And then Merckx and Argentine, we're old enough to know Mario Argentine. And Alaphilippe have won it 3 times.
Oh, so, okay.
On the women's side, it started in 1998. And there is one particular woman that's won it 7 times, all in a row.
I'm guessing Marianne Vos.
Nope.
No.
Marianne Vos actually won it 5 times.
It's 5 times. Anna van der Breggen.
Yep. Oh. In the last 7 years. So there will be a new Flesh Wallon women's winner. And then only one American has won it, and that was in 2012. Any guessers?
Alice. No.
Evelyn Stevens.
Oh. Yeah.
So that is Flesh Wallon.
Okay. There we go. I guess because we always talk a lot on this podcast that we're 57
That's what we're supposed to do, right?
minutes. Yeah, we're 57 minutes in the show, so we're almost
most podcasts cut off right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they're idiots. Mm-hmm. No, they're not idiots.
Hey, wait a minute. John wouldn't like that.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of them are really good. Just certain ones aren't. Let's look at our lists. We've all kind of taken a couple moments. I took mine before the show finally, so I actually have some educated guess in terms of how things are going, and everybody can just go 3 women, 3 guys in that order. Does anybody want to go first, or should I throw myself under the bus? Flesh Wallon first, and then we're going to talk about Liège-Bastogne-Liège before we actually pick those ones, because 2 different races, even though they're very similar in style and different days.
Are we going women first?
Sure, if you'd like. Do you want to go first? Jack,
why not?
Jumps right into the 4A. Give it to us, Jack.
I'll take Brandt, Stevens, and Van Vleuten.
Annemiek van Vleuten, Lucinda Brandt,
and Lawrence Stevens.
Lawrence Stevens. Oh, okay. Who are your guys?
We're gonna jump right into guys.
Yep. And if you want to back them up with any explanations as to why you may. But your picks, I think you've had the best picks this year so far.
You keep saying that, but I don't know.
I think you have.
So I've got Alaphilippe, Pogačar.
Yep.
And I really didn't have a third one.
Just go Valverde.
I'm gonna
just
go
to ride him off into the sunset.
There
we go.
He'll win 6th.
I want somebody to pick Valverde.
He was on. I saw him. I'm like, man, he's gonna win a race this year.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good one for him.
Yeah,
right?
Number six.
Okay, I'll take Valverde. He's old like me.
I'm gonna go next. I'm picking Annemiek van Vleuten because come on.
Yeah.
I'm picking Elisa Longo Borghini, which means she's not gonna have a good day. But I don't know if she's got that climb in her. But we'll see. She's got some punch in her legs, so I'll see what that happens. And I'm going to keep picking Clara Honsinger because I want to pick Clara Honsinger. And I don't know. I would like to see. I'd like to see a win from EF Education in a classic. I think it'd be cool. For my guys, I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with a double a quick step because I think they've got some deals to seal, and I think Patrick Lefevre is assisting upon it. Even though I'm not sure if I like him anymore. I used to think he was a great lead team director, but now I think he's
he produces.
He does.
Yeah.
I'm picking Julian Alaphilippe and Remco Evenepoel.
Yeah, that's a good.
I think Remco's going to have a great final climb there. And Jack's going to the bathroom, everybody. For my third rider, I'm going on a long shot, and I'm picking Michael Woods because I'd like to see something happen for Israel Premier Tech, and I'd like to see something happen for Michael Woods. Anybody else want to jump in with Flesh Malone?
I will also pick Annemiek van Vleuten. Next, I'll pick Marta Cavalli.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Demi Vollering. She skipped Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
She skipped Paris-Roubaix for the Ardennes Classic.
Yeah.
So. And then on the men's side, I am not picking... I'm doing what I usually... Oh, there's Bender. I'm doing what I usually do on these days, or on the not full classic days. So I'm picking Jonas Vingegaard, Tadej Pogacar, and Tom Pidcock.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he'll have a good day at the end of it.
I agree. Those are good choices. Jax is going to take the dog up.
All right. For me on the women, I also have Vollering.
Yeah.
And I have Lucinda Brandt because she's a cyclocrosser, that punchy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're going to have to really lay on that. And then, of course, the go-to is Van Vleuten.
I mean, she can put down that climbing power.
And she didn't have to worry about. I don't think Kopeck's going to be sticking on her wheels, so she didn't have to worry about anything but going forward.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And on the men's side, I have Venergaard, and same with Jackson. Had the same, and then I disagree. I almost pick Evenepoel, but if it gets, this is 26% gradient. He cannot. That's
true.
The thing. So I want Alaphilippe. He's won it 3 times. This could be his 4th. And then, as much as I don't want to think he could do it, but he is going to do it, I think. Because Ineos is hot, is Pidcock. He hasn't really performed. Mm-hmm. I think he's come around from sickness.
Might be his turn.
And it's a cyclocross type punchy thing
I
going
crossed
up the top.
him out.
You're an idiot. Anyway, so
I knew that.
So those are my picks.
Okay. Even bigger on the calendar, Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Paul, what makes this a true classic over that of Flesh?
It's a monument.
What makes this a true monument over that of Flesh?
The length. The length, first of all, and it originally started in 1892 as Spa.
Okay.
And then it lengthened out to Liège. But anyway, so this is the oldest of the monuments. There's only one other race, and I think it's Bronsapil. No. Anyway, one of the 2 Flemish classics are actually older, so this is like the second oldest bike race organized.
Okay.
So it has very steep climbs and long. It's notorious for its climbs, and the La Redoute and the Saint Nicolas and the Côte de Forge. Those are the ones that people try to make a move, and they are very steep, and it's kind of fun to watch. This is actually the very first famous cycling classic. Videos. They used to come out. That was my first purchase. 1991.
What were those called?
Famous cycling videos.
Was it Famous?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, so it's FCVs.
FCVs?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I still have it.
Yeah.
So,
oh, my God.
Anyway, it's interesting to watch because people are standing on the road. They'll have, like, on the bottom part of the hill, their legs straight, and their other leg is bent. It is steep.
It's that steep.
And long. So, well known. Merckx won it 5 times. Valverde and Argentine won it 4 times. There's other guys that won it 4 times. One American won. Tyler Hamilton.
Yeah, Tyler has won this one. Yeah,
2003. And the most noted one was in 1980. I was a junior in high school. Won by Bernardino. It started snowing. It was just miserable, and only 21 finishers out of 170 finished.
Oh yeah, and that's
it was a snowstorm.
That was the beginning of his knee issues. Too,
he had problems with his hands. He's got the same kind of hands I have.
Yeah.
So on the women's side, it started only in 2017. The first winner was Anna van der Breggen, and she won it the next year also. Annemiek van Vleuten, 2019, 2020, Lizzie Deignan.
Yeah.
And then Demi Vollering was last year's.
Okay. So, that tweaks my.
Yeah,
my
see,
picks.
that's why. Yeah.
I should have paid it more attention. I'll go first. For the women, I'm picking Annemiek van Vleuten. I'm picking Demi Vollering.
Oh, see, now.
Yeah, because if you know, I had them picked before you told me this. I've circled these beforehand. And I think Ellen van Dijk is going to, because of the way this is established this week, with Flesh being this baby classic, the semi classic, and Liège is kind of where the big guns come out. I think Ellen van Dijk is going to plan her cards for that day, and so that's where I think we're going to come out. For the men, I have to pick Tadej Pogačar for that day, just because I think that, again, it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit more kind of a importance of a day. But then the other two, I'm playing around. I'm going with Tish Benoot from Jumbo-Visma, and I'm going with Michael Matthews after that incredible uphill sprint he had earlier this year. And I think Michael Matthews is due for something big. So those are my women and my men. Anybody want to follow that? Because you'll be wrong.
Sure, yeah. I think on the women's side of it, I'm gonna pick Celia Ochup Ludwig. Not many race days so far.
I like that girl.
Yeah, she's pretty funny.
Yeah. And she's punchy. She's feisty. And,
yeah. I am also gonna pick Demi Vollering again. Like I said, she skipped Paris-Roubaix for these. And then I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna skip Annemiek van Vleuten and pick Kasia Niewiadoma. She's gonna win one. And then on the men's side of it, it's hard to look past Wout at all. Yeah. Especially after seeing him come back like Van der Poel did. We didn't expect it to happen, but it's Wout. Of course he did. Julian Alaphilippe, I think, is coming back to form when he didn't really start off with it. And then lastly, Tadej Pogačar. I don't think that he can really be looked past at all for any race that he enters anymore.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Jack or Paul? Jack's still kind of staring.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
Women's side, I actually picked Elisa Longo Borghini.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Because there is, after the last climb, there is a little bit. They do finish a little. Anyway, I won't go into that. Demi Vollering again. She, just like Jackson, this is kind of her style of racing.
Sure.
And then you can't go wrong with Annemiek van Vleuten.
Yeah.
So those are my women's.
God dang, that's like what I.
It's exactly.
You're allowed to pick the same.
Yeah.
We're not canceling each other out.
So on this, I went one previous winner for the men's. I went with Alaphilippe. He had a good stage win with a lead out from Remco. Mm-hmm. I think he's coming around in form. I don't think he really hit the form, and I think also that he has to save the quick step name. So I have him, and I went with Wout Powell's. So, and then my long shot is
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Is Martin.
Bahrain victorious. Whoops.
Martin for my long shot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Guillaume Martin.
Yeah, Guillaume
really?
Martin.
Okay. Those are good choices.
I don't know. We'll see.
They could come back and bite you.
Yeah, I know.
Those are good choices. I like those. Jack, bring us home, my friend.
I guess I'm backing out of Demi. I'm going to go.
You're backing out.
Well, I was going to. And then Paul had all three of my picks. So I'll go Borghini, Van Vleuten, and again, Lauren Stevens. I'm giving you an EF win on one of those two races.
I like that.
Yeah. And then for my men, Pitcock, Valverde, and Alaphilippe.
Okay.
It's kind of.
So there we go. We've got another big weekend. I consider this, especially because we don't have Amstel Gold, this is kind of the end of our classics. This is the end of the one days. Now we got to switch into these longer stage races where we've got breakaways that go away and stay away. And Paul's pouting already. You can see him. He's slapping his paper.
Got to wait another freaking year.
Yeah.
Shit.
And I had a pretty long, in-depth topic that I was going to cover, but I'm kind of pivoting here because we're an hour and 10 minutes into the show, and I just, I'm gonna play around with it here a little bit. But first, I want to say that our topic, and I was gonna provide a sponsor here, but you know what? I owe this to my mother, and I owe this to somebody in particular. So our topic tonight is brought to you by the fact that it's Molly Day, and I want to raise a glass to the one and only Molly Bulger, God rest her soul, otherwise known as the bitch behind the bullhorn, and she would take that as a compliment.
I heard her.
If you were a cyclist back in the days of the 1980s, you would know who that woman was, and she was a beautiful pain in the ass. And I think she was the only person to ever scream at Davis Finney to put his helmet on.
Yeah.
So we all toasted to Molly. If you don't know who we're talking about, don't worry about it.
Your sister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I do want to, I kind of wanted to talk about a lot of different things, but one of them that came to mind is about the emotional element in the sport right now, and how we're seeing almost these characters develop more. We saw it in the 70s and 80s, and then I felt it kind of fell off. And I want to talk about the word panache, which is defined as a flamboyant confidence of style or manner. And correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys think panache has made a comeback. Within the last this generation of cyclists. I think cycling, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, almost to an extent was kind of getting bored and methodical. Thank you. I certified to teach English. But yeah, and so I'm seeing the personalities of these riders. We saw recently with Remco Evenepoel in not necessarily a great moment of panache, but expressing emotion, pushing another rider. We've seen Tadej Pogačar at Flanders show emotion about his moment of not achieving what he had wanted to achieve, and his apologizing to
Dylan Van
Baarle via Instagram, because he didn't have any method of getting a hold of him. Alaphilippe, in all of his grandeur, that is Alaphilippe, the character that is Alaphilippe. We're seeing characters come out of the sport. I'd like to know from you guys, Peter Sagan. Peter Sagan, I think, was one of the forefront people of bringing character and panache back into it. So I'd like to ask you guys, just kind of as, I guess is kind of a lighthearted closure here. Who would you consider the top riders that, if you had pick 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 riders that pop into your mind that truly defined panache? It could be as far back as Roger de Vlaeminck, who came up with this quote you sent me, Paul, the other day about saying that riders don't train enough. It's just like, I love these old guys coming up there. You boys, sweating out there. Yeah, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, Roger, the fastest fucking Paris-Roubaix just happened. Yeah. You might want to shut the fuck up a little bit, But anyway, so what comes to your mind when you think of panache, either good or bad? Does anybody have any names? And Jackson, I'm sure you're going to come up with more recent names, but what you got any that pop into your head?
Yeah, I think that for me at least, like, I think the person who really was for men's cycling at least, kind of like the forefather of modern panache, I think genuinely it was Peter Sagan.
Yeah.
I think for a while there, I do agree. I remember just always, it was just another guy crossing the finish line. He held up his hands, but they all did the same thing. And then we saw this kind of young, no-name guy come out of nowhere and celebrate. I remember him doing the running celebration across the finish line. He did have a podium mistake, but then again, I guess they all kissed. Yeah. Which I'm not passing over.
The kissing of the podium girls was a tradition.
Yeah, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
Not pinching the podium.
Not pinching.
No, yes, and I'm not letting that go.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of was the one, for me at least, that started it all. And now we see like an Alaphilippe who is, I would say, another a lot like that Tommy Voeckler kind of style a little bit.
Yeah, Tommy Voeckler had panache.
Yeah,
would you say?
Character, I would say.
Yeah.
Character.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there's a difference between panache and character.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not talking necessarily about flamboyance. Are we talking about
Well, read
flamboyance?
panache again, the definition.
I have it as defined as flamboyant confidence of style or manner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, Tommy Voeckler was not. I don't think it was confidence, but he was flamboyant. He was very
so. Yeah.
and he was a character, and I think he was positive for cycling. That doesn't take it away, but I think I look at people who fit in that category for sure. Sagan, anybody can back up their antics on and off the bike. That is
with results.
Yeah, with results. And
that's where it kind of comes into in the sport.
Yeah,
it is the confidence and the arrogance to an entertaining element, but backing it up with victories.
Yeah,
and he also showed that the rainbow jersey isn't necessarily a curse as well.
Yeah,
which was really exciting.
He broke that curse.
Yeah.
Paul, you mentioned Bernard Hinault.
Bernard Hinault
That was
was
the first person that popped into my mind.
Alaphilippe too.
Yeah, Bernard Hinault. I mean, he was. You know how many comments he made. Remember when he crashed in, what was it, the 80?
As long as
85?
I have 2 arms and 2 legs, it will be difficult.
Broke
for
his
the
nose.
rest.
He's got black eye, everything. And they said, "Are you going to still win the Tour de France?" He says, "As long as I have 2 arms, 2 legs, and lungs, I will always win."
It will be difficult for the rest.
Yeah. And that's the way he was. I mean, he lived and died by his own sword. That's panache. I mean, somebody who tries to, I'm not going to lay down and make excuses. And there is some people in history I think about that were very talented, but always making an excuse when they didn't win. And I think Greg LeMond is one of those people personally.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He always had. He made comments like, people are racing in 90 and 92 in the Tour. He said, people are racing for me to lose and not for them to win.
Yeah.
And, those are statements Bernard Hinault would never make. I mean, that's what I think about panache. To them is that we, I don't care what people are doing. I will find a way and I will win.
The offense or the defense.
There's no excuses, and that's class act. Whether you like the guy or not, he's backing up his word.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I'd have to say that one person that came to mind that seemed to go to both sides of that, because I hated the way the person acted at one point in his career and then made everybody love him the rest of his career to a point, was Lance. Sorry.
Second name on the list. Look right there.
Okay.
I was going to ask you guys, did Lance possess panache?
So in the beginning, I mean, he was this kid that in interviews was horrible, embarrassing, but he was so full of confidence. It was almost sickening. You weren't used to that.
Texan,
and we felt like
dick swaggering,
please shut up.
Cock.
Yeah. Please shut up. But he backed it up with world championships. He backed it up with some classics. So that was a time where I really hated seeing his panache. Later he kind of came around and I don't know, they groomed him much better in front of the mic. He didn't have all stellar moments in front of the mic, but he definitely backed it up. He definitely led with flamboyance and
his style of racing was
very aggressive and
old school stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, for that, I mean, I loved watching him through the years. And even to make the mistake of coming back, it shows kind of that, like, I'm not ready to lay down and die type of thing. He should never have come back. That's the downfall.
He'll admit that too. That was his biggest fault.
Yeah. But his ego, his style, his all that just wouldn't let go.
Yeah.
He kind of wanted to prove people wrong. So
2 other riders that popped into my mind were Marco Pantani.
Oh yeah.
Just because he rode with panache, his attacking style was very much panache. And I can't believe I'm going to say this because I don't think it really came to the surface until after he retired, was Bradley Wiggins.
Yeah.
I love his style now.
He's so cool.
I don't know if I ever, maybe it was my access to the sport at the time, and in terms of did I see and hear and read enough interviews with him, because the guy is just, he's arrogant, but in a very cool way, and he's cocky, and he's a smart ass, and I love those elements of him. And I mean, it's flamboyant confidence. Mm-hmm. You know, the tattoos, the very much look he has right now is very interesting. And so I just, and I'm sure we could all think of other writers that kind of personified panache. It obviously it's a term within the sport that defines very particular writers and their writing style. Did Laurent Fignon possess panache?
Yeah, yep. Yes, he did.
Very in a calm, collected manner. I'm trying to think of more modern writer.
Well, I think speaking of Lance, the one thing that real quickly, and I'm sure Jackson hasn't had a chance to speak in, but still, nevertheless,
he's sneezing his head off.
Yeah,
so we got to get him out of there.
The thing is when Floyd Landis took over and he won that next year, he said, I couldn't believe how weak the peloton was. No one took control, and that's one thing that Lance did, and that's part of panache, I guess.
Of the peloton.
Is the El Patron, they call it the El Patron. Yeah. So he did have that, and Merckx had that, and there was many riders, certainly Bernardi had that. I've heard many stories of people that raced against him, are like, Jesus, this guy he scared the shit out of you.
Yeah.
He was, 5'7", but he was like vicious.
The Badger.
But
So
what happened is, I think too, that we kind of lost. You were talking about that, lost that edge where characters are coming out, because we had that, the Armada type of. You didn't talk. Everybody was. This
marginal
is what you
gains.
said. Well, no, this is even before that.
Though.
This is like right after Lance. I mean, no one wanted to talk about. I mean, you didn't. Even during or after Lance, therefore, a period, no one wanted to really say what they wanted to say because of the fear of everybody coming down on you because the drugs were so thick.
Yeah.
And it had to take this young generation that we are all relishing in. We've got some great, young guys that are just, I think it's exciting to watch. And as much as Remco is a prick, I think, his move,
it's coming out of his pores.
It's
coming out of his pores.
He's a bedwetting baby, I really think. But nevertheless, you kind of need that a little bit to be a champion.
Yeah.
But you got to back it up, and he hasn't yet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so, but we have Pidcock, who's made some statements. We've had all these people, and it's up to them. This is what really makes them a great, is when they finally get to back up what they say.
And I hate to say it, but you're seeing riders like, Chris Froome needs to retire. I'm going to say that right now. He needs to retire. It's time to just kind of hang him up, but he's making $5.5 million a year, so I wouldn't either. Geraint Thomas is even kind of stepping back and going, whoa, these guys are out of control, but I'm going to become I love his Twitter's persona has changed. He's kind of more of a smart ass.
Yeah.
And I think we're all realizing we've got these characters who have stepped into the forefront and into the limelight, and they are quite comfortable there. Tadej Pogačar is, I think, a nice guy assassin. He's just and they're great personalities, and we're gonna have a lot of fun watching them. So.
Well,
absolutely.
And what I like to see too is a different form of panache than we used to see. We used to I feel like with Lance it was that
bully.
The bully,
Yeah.
But now we're seeing more of, like you said, that nice guy panache where it's like when it's race time, sure, that emotion comes out, but afterwards they can make fun of themselves. I remember when Alaphilippe raised his hands too early, he posted about it and he said, I'm not going to post a picture of the finale.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. When the Pogačar reaching out to Dylan Van Baarle, I think that's really cool.
Geraint Thomas, how many times is he going to crash and make fun of himself?
Yeah, he is making fun of himself.
He's a great character.
Yeah.
And I think a big reason as to why now we're starting to see more characters is I think social media has been able to create that quite heavily. Yeah.
I agree.
Because now we know, I mean, the underthoughts of Geraint Thomas or Pogačar, or we even see like the hard moments that Remco has to come to terms with all through social media. And we've seen with specific riders that sometimes it can create a negative character. But that's unfortunately the age that we live in now. And I think it's created a lot of really cool people that we now get to see at the front of races. Yeah. Even Roglic, he's a quiet guy, but you get to see a personality out of the guy, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think that's just going to make it stronger, you know. And I love the attacking nature. I love when a guy like Dylan Van Baarle, who none of us picked going in, and to be able to go, wait, what? You know, the depth is insane.
Yet he won his last races.
He's
were
been kicking
World.
ass. Yeah.
He's second in Worlds, second in Flanders, and then
but
Roubaix.
So basically what I'm trying to say is we all suck at.
But we kind of still look at it the one. Well, he had a good race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now this is like okay.
This is legit,
and I'm talking like Flanders.
It is a contract year for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Well,
he's gonna.
What have you done lately?
Get out your checkbooks, everybody. Yeah. So there we go. So we got 2 races coming up, and I apologize we didn't get to the full topic, but I think we covered a pretty damn good topic.
We can hit that next week.
We can indeed. I do want to mention that if you live in the region and you're thinking about coming and racing the 24 Hours of Riverside, the rates go up in 11 days. So entry fees go up on May 1st. So bug your friends, blackmail them, get them drunk, and make them sign up, and go for there. We're doing great. The registration looks really good, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Jackson's going to be on the mic too. So what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? So there we go, everybody. Keep the Riverside down. What else do I need to say? Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Tell a friend about the show. And am I forgetting anything?
Because we're professionals.
This is a professional podcast, except
right.
I always fuck something up. Yeah.
Quote of the, somebody said something about Phil Liggett. Sorry, and then he said, sold all his onions. My wife and I said that all day.
Sold all his onions.
Yeah, I love that. I love that quote.
I'm not gonna. I do. You brought up Phil Liggett.
Yeah.
I have to throw a big thank you out to the one and only Scott Bork.
Yeah.
Because he was the one who texted me immediately after the show was over last week, and he said, "Get this VPN and sign up for it. Pretend you live in Europe." And I found out this isn't like naughty. I keep thinking I shouldn't be mentioning this.
It feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Illegal.
And so we get GCN for all the races.
Oh,
I'll talk to you after the show's over.
Yeah.
So there we go. If you want a little GCN across the board,
the check porn on that thing